Hello and welcome to 18 WJTS in.form. I'm your host, Bill Potter. Joining me in the studio is a candidate running for office in Huntingburg, Curly Souders, joining us in the studio here to talk about why he is running for office. And Curly, you're probably listed on the ballot as Keith Curly Souders.
Yes, Keith
right?
Curly Souders, that's correct.
Okay. Most people know you as Curly, though.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, Curly, tell us about yourself.
I've lived in Huntingburg all my life. Grew up there. Attended Southridge High School, graduated there in 1974, and then University of Evansville in 1978. I think the biggest thing about Huntingburg is when I grew up, I was fortunate enough to grow up in a neighborhood, it's Orchard Ridge neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Orchard Ridge neighborhood, that was through all my years through high school. It was quite a neighborhood. To mention a few of the people that were there that consisted of that area, which helped Huntingburg become what it is today. That would be people like Robert Minke, Walter Winholt, Leroy Mundy, Leroy Olinger, Robert Witten, Hugo Steinkamp. I got to think of another one here, and then also Norbert Snyder. So all those were leaders of the community in that day and age that actually helped shape Huntingburg to what it is today. In that neighborhood, it's quite the classic neighborhood. Hank Minke and I still laugh about it, as does Greg Olinger and myself, but there had to be 30, 40 kids in that neighborhood at that time. Mm-hmm. And we called it quite the Orchard Ridge Gang, and we haven't figured out yet, or I haven't, whether that was a result of our Catholic upbringing or whether it's a result of my father's homemade wine. It was one of the two. But anyway, we had quite a neighborhood, and those same people, or those kids that were from that time or my age group, they are a lot of the community leaders that are there today. Mm-hmm. So I know the majority of them, and like I said, I was quite fortunate to grow up with them, and I'm still being able to associate with those same people.
So, I would assume then that's why you want to run for office.
That's a big part of it. I want to keep that tradition going, or that mentality of what our parents instilled in us, and try to keep that moving on.
Now, we want to point out you're running at large, so everybody in Huntingburg, all the Patoka townships, or 4 of them,
yes,
will be voting for you.
That's correct.
Okay, so everybody votes, regardless of what district you're in, in your race.
That's correct.
What qualities do you bring to the office, or what do you think qualifies you for the office?
Through my work experience with United Minerals, it was 37 years. I took care of all the equipment budgeting, major repairs, rebuilding of all major components, and the key to that was machine availability. With the capital outlay that a mining company has, the tremendous outlay, mm-hmm. The availability was paramount to our success for over 37 years, in my opinion. So, I feel like I'm very good at that, and hopefully I can apply that to all the department heads, or be able to work a little closer with them and apply that same mentality to those guys, and try to be cost effective in what we're doing with equipment and so on with the city of Huntingburg.
What concerns do you see that the city of Huntingburg is now facing or will be facing in the future, and how would you address those?
I think probably the largest concern that they have, the big upcoming project they have, which is I think already on the books, is redoing Main Street or 231, water lines under it and rebuilding it. It'd be just like what you see at Jasper today. Same project, so that's a concern. And like I said, that's in process. It should be done in a couple of years. And the largest concern I think the city of Huntingburg has that they need to address is stormwater runoff. Mm-hmm. That can's been kicked down the road for quite some time, and we haven't, after talking to Mayor Spinner, we really haven't been able to come up with a definitive answer to how the size of Huntingburg can approach that. I think by law, Indiana law, you have to have a stormwater runoff department if you're over 10,000. Okay. I believe it's 10,000. So we're not required by law, and so it's going to be up to the council members to figure out are we going to incorporate it within the existing group, employees, or whether it's a whole new, department. So that is, I think, probably the biggest thing the city has to deal with today.
Okay, now, Keith Curley Souders, this is your opportunity, your final thoughts, your plea to the voters to vote for you, which, by the way, you can be voting now in early voting, or you can vote on Election Day. So your final thoughts, Curley.
I just think, I'll be very good at working with the current department heads. We have very good ones. And with my experience of dealing with equipment, people, all supervisors of whatever group, I think I'll have no problem doing that. I think it'd be a great asset to the city of Huntingburg. So, and the other thing is, on the voting part that you brought up, we need to keep in mind that it's going to be a very small turnout this year. There's only a couple council races that are contested.
Right. So
it's going to be very important for you voters to get out and vote, and for me, that is, I hope. But anyway, that's going to be very important just because of the size of the turnout. And like I said, I think I'll be a great asset to the city of Huntingburg. And I've known Mayor Spinner for a lot of years, since high school. I actually served on his Board of Public Works, so I'm very familiar with the operation of the city. So just keep that in mind, and please get out and vote.
All right. Well, Curley, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Our guest has been Keith Curley Souders, known as Curley, who is running at large in the city of Huntingburg. And as he alluded to, it is important to get out and vote, even if you vote for just one person or you vote for several people in several areas. Just make sure that you please do vote. Let's see if we can't show that DuBois County knows how to get voting out. This has been WJTS in.form. Thank you for joining us.